This video is all about coastal management. We are starting off looking at hard engineering, so those man-made structures. Now, first in this image, we can see rock armour, sometimes known as riprap, and this consists of massive blocks of natural rock which is piled up at the base of the cliff. The rocks dumped on top of each other, leaving some gaps between them to allow water through. And if resistant rocks like granite are used, they are eroded very slowly. The rocks that are dumped on top of each other and then have the gaps mean that it disperses the wave's energy and reduces their erosional power. Now, the advantages is that it's much cheaper than a seawall. It's quick to build and easy to maintain, and if it's well maintained, the rock armour will last a long time. It's very versatile, so it can be placed in front of a seawall to further strengthen its lifespan. On the other hand, the costs may be high, especially when the rock is imported. They often import the rocks from places like Norway. Sometimes people say rock armour looks unattractive, and sometimes the access to the beach can be difficult if people have to climb over the rock armour. Also in this image we can see groins. Groins look like wooden fences but can be built of rock as well, and they're built down the beach at right angles to the coastline. You might have a series of wooden groins or barriers that are built down the beach at those right angles, and they're designed to stop material being moved along the beach by longshore drift. What they do is they trap the sediment and it builds up the beach, almost acting as a buffer against wave attack, helping to protect the cliffs. The benefits are that it creates a wider beach, which obviously can be popular with tourists and also boosts the local economy, but in addition to that, act as that natural barrier against land and sea. However, it does starve beach material um, further down the beach due to their impact on longshore drift. We next have seawalls. Now these aim to protect the coast using concrete, steel and or stone seawalls. And what they do is they absorb and deflect the wave's energy back to sea and also act as that barrier to prevent flooding as well as erosion. In terms of benefits, they often have a promenade on top, which can double up as a cycle route or is very attractive in terms of tourism. They're obviously effective in protecting the cliffs from erosion, but also prevent flooding as well. They give people a sense of security. In contrast to this, seawalls are very expensive to construct and maintain. They're around over £5,000 per metre. The reflected waves scour the beach and can cause foundations to be undermined. The recurved seawalls can increase the erosion of the beach material and can destroy habitats. We then move on to the final hard engineering method, which is gabions, and these are wire cages filled with rocks, and these can be built up to support the cliff, as you can see in this image, or provide a buffer against the sea. They're often constructed on site using local pebbles. The benefits are that it's cheap to produce, and it can improve drainage of cliffs also. It will eventually become vegetated, like this image here, and merge into the landscape. It's much cheaper than seawalls, rock armour or groins, and it's ideal as a quick fix solution. For the cost, they're good value for money, as they may last 20 to 25 years. On the other hand, then we'll look at soft engineering, which works more naturally with the environment, and we've got beach reprofiling, and this is the artificial reshaping of a beach using existing beach material. So often you'll see the bulldozers moving the shingle back up the beach and creating a steeper angle, and this helps to dissipate the wave's energy. Um, we also then have beach nourishment, which is where it replaces any beach or cliff material that has been removed by erosion or longshore drift. The main advantage is that the beaches act as that natural defence against erosion, that natural barrier between land and sea. Now, in terms of benefits and disadvantages, beach reprofiling and beach nourishment are very similar. So the main advantage is obviously that they're the natural defence. It can improve the attractiveness of the stretch of the coast, which is great for tourism. And it's also a relatively cheap option. However, it does require constant maintenance to replace that beach material, as it is removed via erosion and longshore drift, particularly the case after winter storms. People may be prevented from using the beach during that time of maintenance, and it can also have negative impacts on beach habitats. So, like I say, you could use these advantages and disadvantages for both beach reprofiling and beach nourishment. The next one is something that, as I've been marking your mock exams, a lot of us have missed an easy one mark from this. It was a multiple choice question asking you about the definition of managed retreat. Now, managed retreat is simply allowing the land to just flood and allowing kind of erosion to take its course. So, as you can see in this image here, you can actively see the flooding, and this is usually low cost land, land such as farmlands or salt marshes, and it just helps to absorb the wave energy and flood water during high tides, and then it prevents further inland areas from being flooded. It also creates more habitats for animals. We then lastly have dune regeneration, which is the artificial creation of new sand dunes, or it could be the restoration of existing sand dunes, either planting marram grass, which we obviously know is the pioneer species here that binds the sand together, or by fencing them off. If you've been to Tynemouth, you'll see that they've got sand dune regeneration in place, and how they've done it is they've fenced it off, and that prevents people from trampling on the sand dunes and destroying them. We obviously know sand dunes are a really great natural barrier between land and sea. They absorb that wave's energy, and so it's really important to make sure we restore them. In terms of advantages, it may increase biodiversity, providing a greater range of natural habitats for plants, animals, and birds. However, it can be easily damaged by storms.